Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Slow Blink Anime. This is Phil.
And this is Candace.
And today we're talking about one of the best episodes of My Hero Academia that's come out, probably the best one so far. It's season 4, episode 74. It's called Lemillion.
Yes.
And man, it was so good. Watching this episode, just especially towards the end, it just made me feel. It just made me feel.
Make it tear up.
This is the reason that I watch anime.
Oh my
because
God.
Stuff like this, episodes like this, is so good. But anyway, there's a bunch of crap that happened in the beginning. We're gonna talk about that real quick, and then we'll get to the part that we really cared about. All right, so I know
you really care about.
Yeah, that I really cared about. All right, so we were talking about Twice's quirk and Himiko's quirk last episode, and we were talking about how it worked exactly and what was going on. Then we got explanation this episode towards the beginning. We see Twice and Himiko talking to Chisaki, and then he's asking them questions. They finally get to the part where he said, "What's their quirk?" And of course they don't want to give him the answer, and they're making a big deal about it, and they're being really dramatic. And then one of Overhaul's people, his quirk is confession. What was his name?
Shinimoto.
Something like that.
I think.
His quirk is confession, and he makes them pretty much answer truthfully anything he asks.
Yeah, and he even explained that even if the person that he's asking to, even if they don't know it themselves or the information themselves, they can make them say it.
Oh yeah.
And they did say that.
Yeah, they did say that. And so we find out Twice his quirk is he can make copies of things, but he has to have specific like sizes, and he has to know exactly what it looks like.
He needs to have their chest size, their height, everything.
Just as much details as possible.
Yeah.
And then
he can make
up to 2.
Yeah, 2 clones.
And they both have very limited durability on them.
Yeah. And the second clone is weaker than the first one.
So.
And then, so there's that with him. And then Himiko is kind of similar, but just in a different way, where she takes somebody's blood, and the more blood she drinks from the person, the longer
it correlates to how long she can stay.
Yeah, she can stay on that.
Yeah. Specific person.
Yeah. Yes. And she can drink multiple different person's blood, and so if she does that, she can transform to them.
Different people.
Yeah.
And then I think she mentioned too that one cup of blood equivalates to one whole day. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how long a certain amount of blood would take for her to stay in that transformation. And she went into detail too about the clothes, how that transformed too with her, or it goes on top of it.
She has to. So she what she does is she gets naked. For it to be not go on top of her clothes.
Yeah. Just be more accurate. But yeah, we got details about them, and then at the end, he asked about a betrayal, and he didn't. Shigaraki, their boss, didn't really say anything about a betrayal. He just pretty much said follow the orders and work for them for a while. But they both said no at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit worried about that something did happen that they didn't show on the actual show, like behind the scenes. But we didn't get anything like that, so that was good. And they just started working. Then we get the part where Twice and what's her name? Himiko are like making fun of Irinaka, the guy that's controlling all the walls, and he's shooting them all down the chute and just going crazy with his quirk, because I think it was about to run out too at the same time.
And they knew that.
Yeah, and they were just making him angry.
Yeah, and at first I guess they were gonna go with them, but they figured that they want to follow their leader, which is Shigaraki. And they realized that because Shigaraki said that he trusts them, and so they ended up having the decision of just doing what they actually want to do, and not being under
control or influence by. What do you mean? Like going along with Chisaki's group?
Yes.
Chisaki.
Not being under Chisaki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got all that, and then Deku and Night Eye and everybody else with them are all also dealing with all the craziness happening with the quirk, Irinaka's quirk. And they're looking for the opening, and they see him up in the tunnel, like just being upset. So Deku catches him up there, and he uses his quirk to jump up there, and he attacks Irinaka, and kind of like exposes him, and that gives him as a eraser to give him a chance to use his quirk and erase his quirk, and they were able to shut him down and stop all that craziness with the maze. And then that brings us into the exciting part of this episode. So, catch up with Lemillion. It's fairly early on in the episode. Lemillion catches up with Chisaki and the other people of the pillars of the Hasai group. So, alright. This part. Chisaki and then the confession guy. Is it the confession? No. Who's the one that he was going with? Who are the two that were behind? It was the drunk one. Slosh was the quirk. And someone else. It throws off the Slosh quirk throws off the equilibrium of people. Alright, so both of them are working together. It was Shin and Deidoro are working together that stayed behind. And immediately they just the Slosh quirk throws off Lemillion's balance, and he's kind of like staggering and not able to move freely like he's used to. And at the same time, Shin is asking him questions that are trying to just mess with his mind, really. And he's asking him, like, are you only trying to save Eri because you're trying to redeem yourself, or are you doing it just for you?
He's basically breaking his heart, is what he said.
Yeah.
Or trying to sway his heart or something.
Yeah, just trying to break his will to keep moving on, trying to uncover something dark that he thinks is dark about him. But of course, Lemillion, he overcomes that. They're both like shooting at him and throwing knives at him at the same time, and he uses his ultimate move. And then the dub it said Phantom Threat, but did you hear it? It sounded like he said Phantom Menace. Whenever he did the ultimate move.
Didn't get that.
You didn't hear that? It sounded like it said Phantom Menace, but he goes through all the walls and is attacking them really fast. So we think he knocks him out for a little bit, and then he rushes over to save Eri, and he knocks away Chisaki's assistant, and then he like swings and hits Chisaki in the face, and he grabs Eri at the same time. And what did you think about that moment?
He reminded me of
All Might?
Yeah. He reminded me of All Might.
This whole last part reminded me too.
Yeah. So Deku needs to keep. Deku needs to catch up on him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he does look. He looked like All Might all throughout. That's all he reminded me of.
He said he saved Eri and immediately said he wants to be her hero. That's what he's trying to be. Yeah. And then the whole time, we finally get to see Overhaul use his quirk, and he
was basically manipulating the floors, the walls. He blocked all the exit paths.
So he wasn't able to just freely escape with Eri.
Yeah. And then he manipulated the floors to where he made it spiky.
It was like spikes.
Yeah. I guess it's less easier to run around and do stuff for him.
Yeah, it was like I think it was stopping his movements. It was being defensive for him, and it was also being offensive at the same time because it was attacking Lemillion. And the whole time too, he was explaining that he didn't really care that he was doing like deadly moves that could kill Eri or hurt Eri really badly, because he could just repair her, is what he was saying. He was the only one, and he kept bringing that up. So, but Lemillion kept protecting her and keeping her out of harm.
He did mention that, like, if you kill me, I'm the only one who can repair Eri.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentioned that and made me think, well, he's kind of right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we get that, and I don't know if you tell me what you think about this, but while he was using his quirk, did it kind of remind you of like Full Metal Alchemist, how Ed does alchemy and he's doing like the spikes and stuff? Did it remind you of that at all?
No.
No? You didn't think about that?
No.
It looked, because like he was putting his hands on the floor and stuff to deconstruct it and reconstruct it, and he was doing it to attack Lemillion. I don't know, it just made me think about it. And then the same kind of like art style, it just made me, it kind of reminded me of Full Metal Alchemist when they're doing alchemy, especially Ed when he's doing his.
No.
And they build like walls and stuff for protection.
No.
Yeah, that's just something I thought. But yeah, it was such a good fight. And the whole fight, he's Lemillion's just doing everything he can to protect Eri, and then he gets to the point where we get that one scene where he says, "Oh, I can't remember what happens, but they're in a situation where they're about to shoot him, and he takes his cape off and wraps Eri around it."
Oh,
and
hold on. This is when, I guess Chisaki or Overhaul.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, we're kind of all over the place, but the fact that he doesn't like being called Chisaki is just.
Oh yeah, it was getting aggravating.
Kind of, yeah, it was aggravating him. I mean, I feel like the Million's doing it on purpose, kind of. But anyway, so we also got a little background about him.
For who?
Chisaki.
Mm-hmm.
The boss taking him in,
mm-hmm.
and him working under for him, and he mentioned that he had some kind of when I guess the other gangs out there were falling apart, he asked the boss, like, how about the idea that Chisaki had mentioned?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that part?
Yeah, I remember that. And
so I don't know if that was his old goal that he's trying to achieve right now, that maybe he wasn't able to achieve before. Anyway, this just kind of came through my mind at that point. But anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, the part when Overhaul, I guess he kind of felt like they're being kind of not cornered, but Lemillion is so strong.
Yeah, he was overpowering.
That he had to think of something else to do, and so he took one of the bullets that
with a drug that removes the quirks,
and then he threw it to his assistant, Shin. And then so he told Shin to then go ahead and fire it. And then Shin had to think, well, so in the panel at that point was Lemillion and Overhaul fighting, and then Eri is sitting is on the floor laying somewhere kind of a bit further from them. At first he was pointing at Lemillion, but then he kind of thought, to for sure shoot it at Lemillion. What is he protect, or who is he protecting? And so he thought of Eri, and so he started to aim at Eri, and that's when he shot
he was
the
thinking,
gun.
How do I get him to not use his quirk? How can I definitely hit the shot? That's why he was.
And then so Lemillion runs to Eri, try to save her, but right before he was shot, he looked at Eri, smiling at Eri.
Yeah.
And then the camera or the panel was just his very kind, warm face that's directed at Eri, and that's tore my heart into pieces.
Yeah.
And then the bullet then shot him on his arm, I think.
Yeah, somewhere on the back somewhere.
And then he kind of fell on the floor, but him being quirkless, I guess, doesn't mean that he can't move. And so he still stood up and fought Overhaul.
Yeah. But we
hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, I wanted to say before that happened, Overhaul was just mocking him right before that. And they felt like he was just going to give up at that point after he's like, oh, my quirk. He's like, oh, you wasted all of these years of training and hard work. Like, it's all for nothing. That's what he was saying. And then that's when Lemillion starts just going at him. He was just using his physical abilities to attack him and still was doing his best. At that point, he wasn't really getting any damage on Overhaul, but he definitely was fighting. And then we kept getting all those scenes where it was him protecting Eri and getting in front of it and taking the hits and still standing up after everything.
I don't know why, but for some reason, right before the bullet hits Lemillion, I kind of wished, or I kind of hoped that Eri would do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe she can break the bullet to pieces right before he hits him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But of course, we have to have this to happen for the story to keep going.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like, you know, they're fighting.
Mm-hmm. But I just want to say that same scene that you were talking about where he was smiling, that definitely reminded me of All Might. And how he always
that is very All Might. Yeah.
And he's like, make sure you, whenever you're saving someone, always make sure you have a smile on your face. And that's what he told Deku. I remember him saying that, and Deku tries to do that too. But I think Lemillion definitely exemplified what All Might was trying to be.
Yeah, he is. Mm-hmm. He definitely does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The entire fight, I was just thinking, this is All Might right here.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we'll see what's gonna happen with Lemillion. But for now, it's just kind of like building up.
Yeah. And then we got the last, right before the credits rolled, he was protecting Eri one more time, and he's got all those like spears going into him from Overhaul's quirk.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes, and then it rolls the credits, and then we get the ending song, and then after that, the ending scene. This is the part that just made us just become so excited, but it was Deku bursting through the wall, and you can tell that he's just ready. Like he's ready to. He's angry, he's ready to redeem himself. And then once he sees what's going on, he sees that Lemillion, and he finds out.
Because Deku was also there, and then Night Eye was also there.
And Eraser was there.
Eraser was also there, so the big people are there.
Yeah.
And so when they came busting those walls, Lemillion's face is just like a whole relief, like thank God somebody's here.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's able to protect Eri anymore.
Yeah, he was doing everything he could. He was giving his all.
He was just holding up, basically. Mm-hmm. And so that point, when they start busting that wall, Chisaki Overhaul knew at that point that it's probably best to like do something and not keep going.
Yeah.
And so at the very last second of the episode, right before it ends, he touches, I think that was his assistant, Shin, and something happened, and that's what we're gonna know in the next episode. I feel like they must have transported somewhere.
Oh, you mean in the preview you're talking about?
Yeah. Was
it Shin or was it the Chrono? Because they were both kind of wearing the same outfit, but I think it was Chrono that he was touching. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But like, I don't know if he like deconstructed him or he revived him or something. I couldn't tell what he was doing. But I just know it's going to be some kind of crazy power-up or something.
I don't know. But we're going to see on the next episode.
But yeah, that was a great episode. And I think just the takeaway for sure is that Lemillion was embodying All Might in this episode for sure. Is that what you think too?
Yeah, and I guess all the training that he's been doing and came to this point where unfortunately he had to be hit with a bullet. But obviously they gotta save something for Deku.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to do that. And so now it's Deku's turn.
Yeah. Once Deku finds out that he's lost his quirk, I think he's gonna feel guilty and then just really angry and wanted to to finish Chisaki, for sure. That's what I think. But yeah, we just can't wait for Saturday.
We'll see.
Ready for this episode?
I'm just scared that they might. It is a possibility they might use the bullet on either Deku or Eraser. Eraser would be a good person to use the bullet to, because he can make them.
Yeah, he's really a problem
stop.
for the villains.
Yeah. Night Eye or whoever, but I forgot to talk about the bullet. The way they were manufacturing it, it's kind of all over the place, but that's fine. Is that in 1 month they make 5 bullets, and so they talked about finding a different place or finding a more efficient way of making the bullets. And I just thought to myself, 5 bullets in 1 month, probably not that much. And that's why that's the reason why they have to save it for the most important things.
Yeah.
And this time they had to use it for Lemillion.
That's why they didn't want to miss that shot. For sure. But imagine, because they probably have a lot of the ones that barely work, like the one that they used.
Prototype.
Yeah, the prototype ones that they used on Tamaki. And that thing was only for like overnight that it worked on them. So they probably have a bunch of those that they're just giving out for free. But he's saying he wants to get like a really good factory and sponsors. Sponsors, but like funding from other groups and other villains. That's how he's gonna like mass produce it. That's what he's hoping for.
Yeah, and that's not gonna be good.
Yeah, and it would have to be so much strain for Eri too. She has, because I'm not sure. Is it her blood that he's using?
We don't know exactly yet, but they're gonna let us know in the future how exactly they're gonna do it. And Overhaul did mention that Eri's firsthand knows how it feels to be broken down and put back into pieces.
Yeah, so they must have done experiments on her and a bunch of stuff.
And I feel like they might. Maybe they might have to wait for Eri to grow a bit older, where she can produce more, or she can give more. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, either way, it's not gonna be good if they get away with this.
But we know
for the heroes.
I feel like they will, because they have to keep this going. Like, I feel like this operation is not gonna, obviously the first operation almost always never goes the way they want it to happen.
Yeah.
And so they might have a second operation where they'll have better ways to find them.
More efficient. But that was another great episode, My Hero Academia. We're excited for the next one for sure. It's going to be, probably we get a lot of Deku spotlight in this one. But,
Yep.
Yeah, for sure we will. But you have anything else?
No, that's all. And thank you for listening to us today. And we'll see you on the next episode.